heated moments last year from inside a Utah courtroom. Tonight, the connection this recording has to a young man who was shot and killed by police in Farmington last week.
A storm system arrives tomorrow. I'll time it for you, and I'll let you know how much snow to expect. There are more storms after this one. I'll have all your details coming up.
The fate of a historic building in Murray is being decided. And tonight, residents are making their voices heard. What they want, but are leaders listening?
We plan to use this as the retirement home to sell and go into retirement.
They owned their home for 20 years. As they went to sell it, they discovered someone they trusted had borrowed money against it.
Once a dilapidated water park, hope and excitement for what comes next. A detailed look at new plans, a long time coming for one Utah community.
Live from Utah's news leader, Fox 13 News at 9 starts right now.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us for Fox 13 News at 9. I'm Kelly Chapman.
And I'm Bob Evans. Fox 13 News has obtained audio from a 2022 court appearance by Diane Allen, the mother of 25-year-old Chase Allen, who was shot and killed by Farmington police last Wednesday.
About 6 minutes in, the relatively calm proceedings became heated when bailiffs say they have an arrest warrant for a person believed to be Chase Allen. Listen to this.
I'm happy to note your objection for the record.
Absolutely not. I do not consent to any of this. We are not holding court in this manner. You have a warrant for your arrest.
What warrant? What evidence? Provide probable cause.
Our rights, both of us. This is absolutely unacceptable. Let him go right now.
This is battery and assault. Involuntary physical under Title 18.
You're not going over there right now.
You know what? You have no right.
This is treason.
Chase was handcuffed and taken out of the courtroom. His mother, Diane, then pulled out her cell phone and called 911, telling the operator she was being assaulted.
Is this 911?
Yes, it is.
Hang up.
I'm not hanging up. You need to call back. You need to direct them in here right now. My rights are being violated. There's an assault battery. I'm being assaulted. I'm being assaulted. Please, you need to send help right now.
You're committing a crime.
Diane Allen.
Diane left the courtroom and the judge declared her guilty of 2 traffic violations, ordering her to pay a $100 fine. Farmington Police Chief Eric Johnson has told Fox 13 News they are working on releasing video of what happened when Chase Allen was shot last week. He says it should be in the coming days.
This Sunday will be the 20-year anniversary of Elizabeth Smart being rescued from her abductors, kidnapped from her Salt Lake City bedroom 9 months earlier. Today, I met up with Elizabeth. We got to chat about so many different topics. Elizabeth is now 35. She's a wife and mother of 3. She tells me she's happy and continues to work hard advocating for missing people and victims of sexual assault. I asked her if there was anything she wanted to say or talk about that perhaps didn't present itself in an interview over the past 2 decades. And in fact, there was a heartfelt message to anyone who has followed her story and rooted her on.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone for your prayers and support and all the sacrifices and hours of emotion and search efforts and just the kindness and compassion that I've received over the last 20 years. I mean, I don't think anyone will ever know how much I truly appreciate it.
I have to tell you, it was really inspiring to talk with Elizabeth and all that she's accomplished in the past 20 years. This Thursday, join me as I share more from Elizabeth, along with never-before-heard stories about the search and rescue from the Smart family spokesperson, Chris Thomas. That's this Thursday at 9, only on Fox 13.
Newly released body camera video shows Sandy police officers evacuating people from a burning apartment complex early Sunday morning.
I can't get Police department, you have a fire! Get out of the building!
Let me close this door.
Hey,
Get out! Get out! Get out! Go! Go! Get out! Who else is inside?
Police say one of the residents, Crystal Moss, admitted to starting the fire when her Tree of Life burning ritual got out of control. A tenant and one of the officers had to go to the hospital for smoke inhalation. About 12 apartments were damaged. Moss was arrested on suspicion of arson. Murray is one step closer to losing its historic City Hall.
The City Council voted unanimously tonight to make zoning changes that could allow the building to be demolished and replaced with high-rise apartments. Fox 13 News reporter Jenna Bree joins us live from Murray tonight, where that meeting just wrapped up. Jenna.
Bob and Kelly, Murray City Hall here on 5025 South State Street is moving 2 blocks away. The Murray City Museum is also in this building and is moving too. So over the past few months, City Council members have been faced with the question what to do with this building that's been here since the 1930s. Tonight, Murray residents are saying, save the Arlington.
We love our city and we love the uniqueness of Murray, and we see that evaporating year after year.
Rachel Moreau says many Murray residents went to school at the Arlington.
This was built in the 30s era and served the community as a school, and then in the 80s was turned into the City Hall. So it's been an educational, institutional, and civic building for its entire life.
And I would hate to see the high-rise myself.
It's just not the right space for it.
Every resident that got up to speak at Tuesday's City Council meeting against the demolition of the City Hall building.
The majority wants Murray to look more like the historic Holiday, not high-rise buildings.
They don't want apartments in every available space. We need housing, we need more apartments, but not as part of historic downtown. This area right here is the place that Murray wants to see its gathering place, its town square become.
Clark Bullen says residents don't want a 6-story building with high-density housing in the heart of historic Murray.
And you turn one of these buildings into a 480 apartment complex, then it sets a trend, right? It sets a trend of look, feel, design, and then it's easier for the next one to happen and the next one to happen and the next one to happen.
Despite the comments from residents,
Aye.
Mr. Markham.
Aye.
Council members voted unanimously to approve the zoning changes, which means the city can now decide to sell it to a developer.
There has been some information out there about, that this is going to bring on 480 apartments. That's a possibility, but tonight's vote will not do that.
Now, a real estate agent hired by the city told council members that the best use for this land would be for multi-family use development. Now, the historic Murray First Foundation has suggested using this space to put in a community center with a senior center and a library. Reporting in Murray, Jenna Bree, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Thanks, Jenna. The Salt Lake City Council took input tonight on the Glendale Regional Park Plan, which would replace the former water park known as Raging Waters or Seven Peaks, which closed its gates back in 2018.
Fox 13 News reporter Chris Arnold was at the council's formal meeting tonight.
Well, yeah, good evening, Bob and Kelly. About a half dozen people spoke during the public comment period tonight about the Glendale Regional Park Plan, all giving a glowing review of what this could bring to the area where the now demolished Raging Waters used to sit. Now, the renovation of that area being funded by the Land and Water Conservation Fund, which requires Salt Lake City Public Lands to provide publicly accessible outdoor recreation to the Glendale community by 2024. Now, in the proposed plan, the repurposing of the 17-acre site would include features like a picnic area, event stage, playground, trails, and sports courts, just to name a few. Now, those who spoke here tonight were all in favor of the park plan moving forward.
We are so excited to get this, plus the other parks all deserve their other pieces too. And we just want it built, but we want it built like it's promised.
Every great city in the world that I can think of is associated with an amazing park. It's where we nurture our hope. We should have people enter a park with hope and leave with inspiration.
While others who spoke here tonight were hoping a few tweaks to the plan could be made, including the addition of more pickleball courts to even possibly finding a way to heat the swimming pool. Soren Simonson, the executive director of the Jordan River Commission, is hoping they can keep the marina dock at the park for Jordan River's conservation and cleanup, as well as other uses.
The current boat launch at the marina that's there now is used for occasional water rescue. And so looking at how access can be provided for different kinds of watercraft that are used for training by our emergency services is important.
Well, as for next steps with the project, funded by more than $3 million in development impact fees, construction plan development is underway with phase 1 of construction now complete. That will offer new amenities to the public beginning in spring of next year. Now, the City Council is tentatively set to take action on the Glendale Regional Park Plan on March 21st. For now, live in downtown Salt Lake, Chris Arnold, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Well, this morning I woke up to just a skiff of snow at my house. It got rather nice, though, temperature-wise. It all melted. No shoveling needed, Dan.
No shoveling? Oh, my. We've had a lot of snow lately, even in the valleys. Tonight, from the top of the Oquirrh Mountains, looking out over Tooele Valley. Oh, what a gorgeous view. And you can see right there, there's an aircraft moving across the valley. It's not a UFO. Don't get all panicked. Hey, coldest in the USA. Peter Sinks this morning. 41 below zero, and I talked to my buddies who work up at the Utah State Climate Center, and they say that's not even the record for March. 52 below zero in 2002 in the month of March. Can you believe that? Alta received 842 inches of snow in 1981, 1982. You remember how wet it was in the early 80s and the early 90s? Well, we had records of 816 and 83, 84, then 82, 83, and then 85, 86. And then 92, 93, 94, 95. And here we are, knocking on the door, upping this 7th wettest ever to probably one of the top 3 or 4, it looks like. Maybe even the top one at the rate we're going. There's that heavy rain in California. They're expecting upwards of 1 to 2 feet of water. So that could be in inches, well over 100 inches of snow in the next little while. I'll have all the details coming up.
They go into salons like that, just seconds and make, $20, $40.
Nail salons across Utah are getting scammed. What you can do to avoid falling victim to con artists.
It is so nasty. The end story of it is just incineration.
Can you imagine ski wax in your drinking water? It's happening in Park City. What city leaders are doing to stop it?
When our son was ready, nobody else was.
And turning tragedy into triumph. How the family of a man shot and killed by police is looking to help others battling the same struggles their son faced.
You go to buy or sell a home, you expect the title company is going to forward the escrow money where it's supposed to go.
We cannot get this home back on the market and our title clear.
But we'll tell you about an agent accused of holding on to that money and forging signatures.
Nail salons in Salt Lake and Utah counties and as far south as St. George are on high alert after scammers hit multiple salons over the past few days.
And this is sneaky. Here's how the scam works. 2 people go into the salon at a busy time. They offer to prepay for a cheap service with cash. They then act erratic and say they've changed their mind about the service and ask for a refund. By sleight of the hand, they hide some of the money already given to them by the cashier and then demand more be given before leaving quickly in a getaway car. Salons are losing anywhere from $20 to $60 every time this happens. One salon owner in Draper says, while it may not seem like much, it does add up.
Right now it's winter, it's slower season for a lot of salons, so any money, any amount is important to support their family.
Businesses can protect themselves by not allowing customers to prepay and by having surveillance cameras installed. Police say if you are suspicious of a cash-based scam, call another employee over to count the money while another person calls the police to report trespassing.
The family of Zane James has launched a new nonprofit organization to help Utahns to recover from substance abuse. James was 19 years old when he was shot and killed by a Cottonwood Heights police officer in 2018. His parents say he battled addiction before his death. They noticed a lack of resources for their son, which is why they created Power Forward Utah, a nonprofit dedicated to helping others on their road to sobriety.
We're taking the first step to fill one of those gaps, to connect people with a safe place, to live in a safe community, to support them while they figure out how to live and grow in recovery.
Power Forward Utah plans to provide $100,000 this year in sober lifestyle scholarships to Utahns battling addiction.
A certain type of ski wax is now banned in Park City after forever chemicals were found in the city's drinking water. Fluorinated wax, or fluoro wax, is typically used for racing or high-performance alpine and cross-country skiing. Park City recently discovered PFA compounds in its groundwater. The EPA says these compounds can decrease fertility, cause developmental delays in children, also increase the risk for cancer. Park City says it is one of 2 cities in the U.S. to make the connection between fluoro wax and forever chemicals in the water.
These levels are so low that they're in the parts per trillion ranges. So recognize we're at 7 parts per trillion, which is, barely measurable by instrumentation today.
Well, the city is encouraging skiers to drop off fluoro wax at Recycle Utah until April 15th so the wax can be properly thrown away. Dehan there says there isn't really a punishment for people who do continue to ski with it, but the city plans to increase signage, also education, reminding locals and visitors of the risks.
So we have a mix of clouds and moonlit skies out there tonight. Temperatures are running in the upper 40s in St. George. No wind to speak of. Here in Salt Lake City, we have a temperature of 33, although in the outlying areas and some of the benches and into Utah County, we're down into the 20s. The airport tends to be one of the warmer spots here along the Wasatch Front. You can see here on this map, for example, it's 27 in Ogden, 13 in Logan. The high today was a record cold high at Lake Town, only 17 degrees. That tells you how cold it was, and it's 12 right now in Evanston, Vernal 23. So again, colder spots and warmer spots. In the southeast, it's in the low 40s, mid 30s. Here comes the next storm. A lot of clouds tonight and tomorrow morning, no travel problems for the morning commute. Then in the afternoon, here it comes. It'll be here starting around 3, 4, 5 o'clock, and then it may come in with a bit of thunder as the main part of the upper low, the cold front itself, comes in somewhere between 7 and 11 p.m. Any way you see it, snow starts during the commute and continues and will become heavy at times through the early morning hours on Thursday, but it should be gone by Thursday morning. Thursday turns out to be a pretty good day, actually, with clouds coming in late in the day. Thursday night and Friday morning, we'll see some snow, which will quickly change over to rain by Friday afternoon. This is an atmospheric river that will just pound California with heavy rain, snow levels at about 4,000 to 5,000 feet. Flood warnings in the San Francisco Bay Area. Some of that will get over the it'll get over the Oakers. It'll get over the Sierra into Utah, and that's why we'll see periods of rain and snow up to about 6,000 feet. And then enough cool air comes in that we had a little mixture on Saturday, tapering off in the afternoon, and then kind of increasing again on Sunday, some rain and snow showers. Monday, the ridge comes in, followed by another atmospheric wave, which hits California and then moves inland. This one has a better chance of producing heavy precipitation as it moves through. Some colder air will come in, and that could change it over to snow on Wednesday of next week. But at this point, how much snow will fall tomorrow? Well, it looks like the east side of the valley getting a little bit more, several inches, maybe up to 5 or 6 inches in those high bench areas, 1 to 3 inches on the west side of the valley, mountain areas anywhere from 6 to 12 inches in those higher spots. And that's your time frame into 8 a.m. Thursday. Okay, so now you know. Be prepared tomorrow afternoon. I'm predicting 1 to 2 inches in most Wasatch Front areas, 2 to 5 on the benches, 5 to 8 Wasatch Mountains, 8 to 12 in the Cottonwoods, western Uintas 5 to 9, and 1 to 4 Cache Valley. Okay, statewide temperatures tomorrow are going to be mostly in the 30s and 40s in the north, the 40s, 50s to near 60 in the south. Folks, this is going to be a mild pattern for St. George. Showers Friday and Saturday, followed by rain on Tuesday, but 71 on Monday. The Wasatch Front, that snow comes in later tomorrow night. We warm up to 44 Thursday, hit 52 Friday with that snow changing to rain. Showers of rain and snow Saturday, Sunday. Monday's an in-between day. And Tuesday, more rain as that atmospheric river moves in.
All right, Dan, thanks so much. Straight ahead, BYU archaeologists have made a big discovery in Mexico. We'll show you and explain why it's important.
The Jazz continue their road trip tonight in Dallas. Could they end their 3-game winning streak with a win over the Mavericks? I'll have the highlights.
The city of Holiday has now released a statement after the legislature passed a bill to dissolve the Unified Police Department, which the city had opposed. The city wrote today, quote, "We are confident that our residents will continue to receive excellent continuous police services." Holiday officials are exploring options for a police partnership with other cities, saying they believe that is the best option for enhanced services and the efficient use of tax dollars. They say Holiday residents will have opportunities to voice their opinions.
Some BYU archaeologists recently discovered artifacts that were buried for more than 1,000 years at a Mexican excavation site. Located in the Mexican state of Chihuahua, Casas Grandes was home to a large ancient city called Paquime, which flourished between 1200 and 1400 AD. Among the discoveries was the floor of a large building, with the university using advanced technology to get a glimpse of what the structure may have looked like.
Lots of what we can learn about a site comes from the contexts of the artifacts or their relationships to each other in space. And so technology is really helpful in doing that. For example, we have a total station that allows us to map in with millimeter precision everything on the site.
BYU archaeologists have been studying the site for more than 10 years.
Forgery and missing money. The nightmare discovery for one Utah couple trying to sell their home.
He had forged documents and he had taken out $900,000 against our home.
And a list of excuses when pressed for answers.
Another spot he just forged in his own handwriting.
Yes.
What Fox 13's Nate Carlisle found when he dug deeper.
I'm questioning his integrity.
The blind spots Utah has for one part of the real estate industry and why it took so long to act. Coming up next.
We think the signatures came from our title that anyone can get off of the internet.
They must not use that money for a purpose not stated in the escrow instructions.
I filed a thing with the FBI. I haven't heard back.
In real estate, there's buyers, sellers, realtors, lenders, and one profession no one thinks much about: title agents. Among other things, they make sure money in the transaction goes where it's supposed to. But what happens when the agent keeps some of that money? Or worse. I'm Fox 13 investigative reporter Nate Carlisle. There were multiple lawsuits accusing one title agent of negligence. So why did it take Utah so long to act? This Mr. Goodrich? Hi, this is Nate Carlisle, Fox 13. I believe you called my news desk? I was calling back this man, Ryan Goodrich, founder of Synergy Title in Clearfield. His company's website says Synergy provides exceptional service, accuracy, confidentiality, security, and professionalism. Goodrich called me when he heard I was investigating him. He told me, "Nothing bothers me more than when someone questions my integrity."
I'm questioning his integrity.
This is Scott Johnston at Titan Title Insurance Agency. He says he grew concerned about Goodrich in a transaction with...
So we've been here for 20 years.
Reed and Shelley McDermott.
It was our dream home.
Besides being a title agent, Goodrich also buys homes. In late November, he agreed to purchase the McDermott's house in Morgan.
And we had this as a grand piano in here. We planned to use this as the retirement home to sell and go into retirement.
$1.6 million, what he agreed to pay.
Yep.
As the closing date neared and passed, the McDermotts say Goodrich sent these text messages, repeatedly claiming he was about to send paperwork and transfer money. When neither arrived, he made excuses. "Sorry, I've been super sick," reads one text message Goodrich sent. "I fell down my stairs this morning from being so sick." A week later, he texted, "I have the worst food poisoning." Meanwhile, other people were suing Goodrich and Synergy Title. Lawsuits also accused Goodrich of not paying out the escrow money meant to purchase this apartment complex in Ogden. And in another lawsuit, He's accused of holding on to the escrow money for this house in Ogden and this house in Layton. And yep, you guessed it, this one too.
As soon as you disperse money, you shouldn't have any of that money in your trust account.
But none of those lawsuits caught the eye of anyone at the Utah Department of Insurance. Unlike some other businesses or professions Utah regulates, title agents don't have to report litigation, nor is there any mechanism for the insurance department to automatically get notified of a lawsuit accusing an agent of malpractice.
If there is a threat to the public, that is really one of our most important jobs, is to protect consumers.
John Pike is the Utah Insurance Commissioner. He said the Utah legislature would have to pass a law requiring title agents to report litigation.
I think that could be helpful. What is typically very helpful for us currently is when we get complaints.
That would be complaints made directly to the Utah Department of Insurance. But states like Missouri and New Jersey also require title companies to log customer complaints that they receive so regulators can inspect them. Utah does not.
I'm underimpressed. There's got to be a mechanism. I just felt like there's got to be a mechanism where we can stop him because he still has access to the money.
Sellers on one transaction involving Goodrich called Johnston to get help figuring out why their mortgage hadn't been paid off. He did some digging on Goodrich and decided to call the McDermotts. His news about Goodrich shocked them.
He had forged documents and he had taken out $900,000 against our home.
$865,000, actually. Goodrich sent a lender this closing statement and warranty deed in order to borrow against the McDermotts' house, even though he never paid the McDermotts.
He had put himself as on our title.
As the owner.
The Morgan County Recorder confirmed to Fox 13 that warranty deed has never been recorded.
You can actually see, the uneven edge.
Shelley McDermott showed us what she thinks Goodrich did.
So as you can see here, there's the tape marks where he taped the signatures on, okay? These are our signatures, but they're from our title.
The title you signed 20 years ago?
Yes, that one.
Wow.
Yes.
So in one spot, he copied your old signatures.
And taped.
Another spot, he just forged in his own handwriting.
Yes, they don't match. They're not even close.
They expressed a concern to me that their signatures had been forged. On the phone, Goodrich said, "I can send you a document that shows their signatures were not forged." He has never sent me any documents. As for the money Goodrich borrowed against the McDermotts' house, he said it had been returned.
That's an absolute lie. To this day, the money's not been returned.
On February 15th, 13 days after getting a call from Johnston, the Utah Insurance Commission issued an emergency order finding Goodrich committed fraud and forgery and suspending his title agent license. No criminal charges have been filed.
Of course, this is the family room.
The McDermotts said they never received Goodrich's $10,000 in earnest money. Worse yet, the lender he borrowed from has a deed on their home.
We cannot get this home back on the market and our title clear.
On the phone with me, Goodrich maintained he did nothing wrong. Later, Goodrich agreed to an on-camera interview, but he sent an email the day of to cancel, saying he had a mental breakdown and went to the hospital, but that he was getting an attorney to fight some of the allegations.
It's not about the money. It's about stopping him from doing this again, having him accountable for what he did, and letting the industry know you've got some cracks.
In Morgan, Nate Carlisle, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Earlier today, an attorney for Ryan Goodrich sent Fox 13 News a statement on his behalf.
It reads in part, quote, "I have over 20 years of experience in the business of title and escrow services, and I have many satisfied clients. I take these allegations seriously and look forward to addressing them through the legal process." You can read the full statement on our website, fox13now.com.
If you have a story you'd like the Fox 13 News investigative team to look into, send an email to iteam@fox13now.com or call the tip line at 801-536-1314.
Just into the Fox 13 newsroom, a teen boy who's been missing from Las Vegas for more than a month was possibly spotted recently in southern Utah.
This is 13-year-old Nathaniel Kling. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children shows he has been missing since February 2nd. The Washington County Sheriff's Office says they got a tip today from someone who may have seen him on Sunday in the West Desert near Gunlock. He was possibly seen with two men. Kling is 5'2" with blonde hair and brown eyes. The Sheriff's Office is asking for everyone to keep an eye out for him.
Well, coming up, what Utah Senator Mitt Romney is doing to crack down on TikTok amid national security concerns.
And Lake Powell recently hit a new low, but now federal officials are dialing back a measure that helped raise the water level. We'll explain.
And Brian Laundrie's mother is firing back over a controversial letter she wrote to her son. We have the latest developments in the saga between the Laundrie family and Gabby Petito's family.
After starting with 2 games on the road, RSL has their home opener this week against Austin. We'll hear from the club about that matchup.
And the next storm is going to be here tomorrow afternoon. This is a quick peek at the snow. I'll let you know more about it, when it will start, and when the next one will follow in just a couple of minutes.
In national news, authorities confirmed 2 of the 4 Americans kidnapped in Mexico last week are dead.
All 4 were found in a shack in a rural area of Mexico, protected by an armed guard. The 2 survivors were rushed back to the U.S. for medical care. It's still believed the abduction and shootout, which was caught on camera, was a case of mistaken identity.
I've been briefed by the FBI, which is working with Mexican authorities, and senior department officials are working closely with our counterparts at the State Department.
A relative of one of the victims says they went to Mexico so one of them could get plastic surgery. The State Department is reminding Americans this part of Mexico is under a level 4 do not travel warning.
A bipartisan bill has been introduced in Congress that could ban TikTok in the U.S. The legislation would authorize the Secretary of Commerce to crack down on tech companies that pose security risks, with several congressmen, including Utah Senator Mitt Romney, naming the video sharing app TikTok as its connection to China.
We have to recognize that we face geopolitical adversaries that are serious and threaten our security, our prosperity, and even the peace and freedom that we enjoy. This piece of legislation is designed to help protect Americans and protect America and our friends.
The CEO of TikTok will testify before Congress later this month on the security concerns of the mobile app.
Federal officials are dialing back measures meant to help stabilize Lake Powell. In 2021, the Bureau of Reclamation implemented an emergency measure to release extra water from Flaming Gorge Reservoir to help raise Lake Powell's plummeting water levels. It was meant to buy its surrounding communities more time to plan for the likelihood the reservoir will eventually drop too low for the Glen Canyon Dam to generate hydropower. That measure was supposed to continue through April, but it was suspended today after above-average snowfall in much of the West.
Brian Laundrie's mother says the controversial letter she wrote to her son has been taken out of context. Last month, the parents of Gabby Petito filed a motion requesting the letter Laundrie's mother wrote that referenced bringing a shovel to help bury a body. She says the letter to her son, saying burn after reading, was just meant to show how much she loved him. She claims the letter was written long before the trip, during which her son confessed to being involved in Gabby Petito's death in Wyoming. The Petito family is suing the Laundrie family for emotional distress. The case returns to a Florida courtroom on May 24th to hear the Laundrie's second motion to dismiss the lawsuit.
Still ahead, a mountain lion was spotted a little too close to a Mapleton home. What state wildlife officials say happened next.
And have you ever been unsure of whether a traffic light was red or green because it was covered in snow? What UDOT is doing to fix that problem.
Real Salt Lake will play their home opener on Saturday. We'll hear from the team after today's training session. And the Jazz were in Dallas tonight. Could they end their 3-game losing streak with a win over the Mavs? The highlights are on the way.
Nasty put down. Oh, by the finisher left.
We are so glad you could join us for Fox 13 News. And aren't we glad, Kelly?
Thank you, as always. Glad to have you along.
Yep. Hey, by this time tomorrow night, we're going to have some more snow on the ground in northern Utah. Utah's Weather Authority Dan Pope is going to have the complete forecast in just a few minutes.
The Utah Division of Wildlife Resource agents have tracked down a mountain lion that was spotted in Mapleton yesterday afternoon.
In a post to the Mapleton Police Facebook page, the agency said they got reports of the cougar in the northeast area of town. Earlier today, agents found the cat near 1700 North, 1200 East, and were able to tranquilize and relocate it to another area of the state.
UDOT is implementing new devices to help drivers better see traffic lights during heavy storms. They're placing heat tape on traffic lights to melt the ice and snow that builds up on them. The problem became particularly bad as lights were switched from incandescent bulbs to LED, which produce less heat. UDOT says these recent storms have really put the tape to the test.
It's been a busy winter for the heat tape. And we have had quite a few storms where we have tested the heat tape out, and for the most part, it's working quite well.
UDOT is the first transportation department in the country to install the heat tape. Right now, it has been installed at 67 intersections. That's nearly 450 LED lights so far.
You know, we could solve the problem of not being able to see. We wouldn't need the heat tape if we could just get it to stop snowing for a minute, Dan.
Everything is give and take, you know.
Right.
We're sick of the snow. We need the snow. We need the water.
When we're taking more than we're giving.
Push and pull.
Yeah,
Yep.
and you know, all this water's going down the Colorado and down the Green River, and it'll help Lake Powell and Lake Mead. It won't solve the problem. Unfortunately, some of this is going to come in the form of rain over the next several days, and that could become a problem in the foothills and in the valleys where that snow is still pretty deep. Could turn to a little bit of a mushy mess. 23 in Vernal right now, 25 Manti, 49 St. George. And here's the situation. This is an atmospheric river. They're calling this an atmospheric river 4 on a scale of 1 to 5. And this one hits San Francisco, and there are flood warnings below 4,000 feet through the southern Sacramento Valley, northern San Joaquin Valley, and San Francisco. This same storm is coming inland, and as it does, it'll start to snow here. And we'll see snow tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, and a strong cold front move through between 7 and 11 p.m., and that could come along with some lightning and thunder and some snow squalls, so that by, I would say, about 2 a.m., pretty much this whole thing will have gone east of the Salt Lake Valley, the Wasatch Front. The ridge of high pressure kind of comes in on Thursday morning. Thursday should be a decent day, and boy, it'll warm up to the mid-40s. And then this is the second in the series of very strong atmospheric rivers. It'll come in with snow briefly on Friday morning, turning to rain in the afternoon. And look at the magnitude of this atmospheric wave as it hits California. And this is just one of several that'll be hitting them and then coming inland over parts of Utah. There's the shower activity that persists on Saturday. Might be a little break Saturday afternoon. Then Sunday, more showers come in. Sunday into Monday. Here's some ridging over the Great Basin, and here comes the next atmospheric river starting to push into California. We'll be in a ridge of high pressure Monday, but watch what happens Tuesday. Here it comes. Wham! Right over the top of us. Rain and mountain snow. This time the snow levels go up to about 7,000 to 8,000 feet, so that everything that falls below that is rain, and that could cause, like I said, some of the rivers to run high. We're going to have to watch this carefully. And again, California gets smashed with another atmospheric river. Now, behind this storm, we start to see cold enough air for a brief change back over to rain, snow, or even all snow, especially bench areas Wednesday. Maybe some lingering snow showers Thursday, but look at this, another atmospheric wave coming into California. That too will move into Utah later next week. How much snow will fall? Well, here we are by 3 a.m. on Thursday. This is 3 to 6 inches, the computer models. This is 1 to 3 inches. Let's go ahead and go through the whole time frame. This is 6 to 12 inches. So generally the Uintas and back towards Camas, Heber Valley, east side of the Salt Lake Valley, pretty good chance we'll see some snow accumulations. My thought is 1 to 2 on average in the Salt Lake Valley, the Wasatch Front Valleys, 2 to 5 benches, mountains 5 to 8, 8 to 12 cottonwoods, 5 to 9 western Uintas, Cache Valley 1 to 3. Salt Lake City tomorrow, we'll see the clouds in the morning, afternoon snow tomorrow night. And the snow will cover the northern third of Utah. Well, St. George, you'll be in the 60s the next 2 days. Showers on Friday, Saturday, and again, Rain Tuesday, but we hit 71 on Monday. Now the Wasatch Front, there you go. 40 tomorrow, turning cold tomorrow night and Thursday morning. Now there will be ice on the roads for sure Thursday morning, but it won't be snowing during the commute. The commute home tomorrow night, though, that's going to be trouble. Rain and snow Saturday, Sunday. We warm into the 50s, 55 on Monday, and then Tuesday and Wednesday, that next atmospheric wave moves over Utah.
The Utah Jazz played Game 3 of their 6-game road trip tonight in Dallas, trying to end a 3-game losing streak without Jordan Clarkson, Walker Kessler, and Colin Sexton. The Jazz did have Lauri Markkanen back after he missed the last game. Jazz All-Star had some big dunks in the first half. Simone Fontecchio to the finisher. He throws it down. Then on the defensive end, Rudy Gay with the steal ahead to Markkanen. He pushes it ahead. Talon Horton-Tucker back to Markkanen for the hammer. Markkanen had 33 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds. How about this putback from Damian Jones? Big time throwdown. He tied the score at half. Third quarter, it's Luka Doncic for 3. Put the Mavs up by 8. He finished with 29 points. Jazz are right there, though, down the stretch. Ochai Agbaji, corner 3. Put the Jazz up 1 with 3:40 to play, but the Mavericks pulled ahead. Kyrie Irving with the 3 to help put the game away. He had 33 points. As the Mavs won at 120-116, the Jazz fall to 31-35 after a 4th straight loss. They play in Orlando on Thursday. After starting the season with 2 matches on the road, a win at Vancouver and a loss in Seattle, Real Salt Lake will play their home opener at America First Field this Saturday against Austin. RSL and Austin played in the first round of the playoffs last year. RSL blew a 2-goal lead in that match, eventually lost in a penalty shootout. At today's training session, the players said that game still lingers, but they're excited to play at home in front of their fans.
Well, there's definitely a little fire there. I think more importantly, it's just a home game. And, you know, in this league, you got to win your home game if you want to make playoffs, and that's kind of how we're looking at it, is every home game's got to be a win. The fans make it electric every time. I know it's going to be a cold one. Hopefully we still get a packed crowd, and we reward them with the 3 points.
It's just great to come back home finally, play in front of our fans. It was a huge factor last season, 17 straight sellouts. I think they kind of levitated us to the next level. This home opener is going to be special as well. It's a huge test for us. Austin was really good. We faced them 3 times last year, and was always a good battle. I'm just happy that we get to play in front of our fans and make it really difficult on the teams coming here.
Weber State's playing Montana State in the semifinals of the Big Sky tournament. This is Dylan Jones, the first team all Big Sky player. Friendly bounce, and it's CJ Cunningham for 3. Weber State leads at 23-19 late in the first half. Utah's Brandon Carlson named to the 2 all Pac-12 first teams today. It was by the league's coaches and the Associated Press after averaging 16 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 blocks per game. Good player from Bingham High School. The Utah Tech women won their first ever WAC tournament game today. The men are playing right now against Stephen F. Austin. This tournament time begins.
Let it begin.
Yeah.
It's March.
It is March after all.
Let's get mad, right? March Madness.
There you go.
Thanks, Jeff.
We'll be right back.
Hey guys, listen to this. A Utah middle school student won a world championship for ice climbing in Finland today.
Holy cow.
Just 13 years old. His name is Landers Gaydosh. He's from Oker Hills Middle School. He won the overall gold medal at the Ice Climbing World Youth Championships. He also won first place in the speed ice climbing event.
That guy's
He
good.
took home a silver medal in the lead rope climbing event.
Ice.
He can just do it all.
That's cool.
Landers faced competition from around the globe, with many climbers older than him by several years.
Go, Landers. Way to go. Congratulations. That is great.
Representing.
Yeah. QuickCast is next.